Ange, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's great to be with you, Fazio. Thanks for having me.
Ange, can you tell us a little bit about your role at ASSA ABLOY?
Sure. My title is the Head of Digital Access Solutions. And what that really means is anything software driven, anything to do with electronics, traditional electronics, or uh, EAC, EM, anything to do with wires, anything like that. I lead that group for ASSA ABLOY in the US, and my peer, Sean McGrath, manages the US commercial business, and we run that entire business together for ASSA ABLOY DSS. And DSS is Door Security Solutions, which is the sales and marketing arm in the United States, selling the entire portfolio of ASSA ABLOY products.
Okay, so you have a pretty wide breadth of what you have to oversee at ASSA ABLOY.
We do. We have a number of people in the field, front-facing people. So we have people calling in specialty groups. For example, we have two teams, one in multifamily and one in campuses, just calling on decision makers that play in the electronic space. We have the back end of the business, which is companies who service and support our OEM partners like you, who help build integrations, fix integrations. And we also have the project management pieces, as well as multiple different specialty sales forces. We want to be very, very focused, Foswell. We want to make sure that whether you're an architect or developer or channel partner, whatever you may be, end customer, we have people who specialize in that type of expertise and calling on you. So it's a wide variety of people that encompasses our group.
And that's definitely needed because there's a lot of wheels in this machine, and having that coordination is essential to continue to make it work as you have been. And to comment on the integration, we've been an integration partner with ASSA for a very long time, and we very much value the support that ASSA provides to us, especially with our recent projects that we've had. Can you comment a little bit about our integration?
Yeah, well, you're one of the early ones, and we're really grateful for the partnership and the loyalty. And I think the relationship is very mutually beneficial. Our people enjoy working with your people very, very much. And you, of course, are an elite access control partner with ASSA ABLOY, which is a kind of a different level, the highest level that you could achieve. So I think our longevity together has been rewarded both ways for sure.
Yeah, and this ongoing partnership, as I've mentioned, we've really enjoyed that, especially with a local installation that we've had at Saddleback College, and we had the ability to interview Mike Betzler in one of our first interviews, and they repurposed, for example, the IN120, the privacy button in how they were using it. They repurpose it as a panic button. And we have a great case study that ASSA assisted us with. And it's on our website. If you want to have a further read, or if anyone else has any questions, definitely reach out to us. So I'm going to switch gears. Sorry.
Can I make a comment on that?
Yes,
I
of
think
course.
I think what's really special about that end customer Saddleback and the case study that you and Laura put together is this is kind of the highlight of what we like to do. We've got a great mutual customer. They came up with a really interesting idea and we feature it. And one of the things we've learned in access control in particular is how helpful the community is to each other because they're using the product, they're using the software, they're the ones who see what it does and doesn't do. And when they come up with really notable and interesting and creative ideas like this, it's really great that people take a look so we could share it with others.
That is good because we actually, when we post that to ASA with regards to that functionality, we got a lot of support. And though, we had to do a little bit of change on our side, again, going back to the support that we received from ASA was very beneficial, and it was actually crucial for us to make this happen for Saddleback. So we, again, value our partnership greatly. So going back to, or actually changing the direction a little bit now, supply chain issue is still a factor. I know some of the industries are starting to bounce back. How is ASSA ABLOY dealing with supply chain issues? Are you still facing that as a challenge in supplying product today?
Yeah, we're definitely still facing it. It's an industry issue. It's a world issue. It's our lives issue. I think that also when it first started, people were kind of shell shocked. How could this item that I can get so quickly go so long? We're talking about intelligent locks here. And I think all of us started to realize in due time in our personal lives, it was affecting us, whether we were trying to get an oven, a refrigerator, a toaster oven, certainly a vehicle. So there was a middle phase where people were far more understanding. Nobody liked it, but people were understanding. And then we're kind of in that latter phase where there's a bit of fatigue. It's gotten a little bit better, not a lot, but there's a bit of a fatigue factor. And the fatigue factor comes from, I really need this. I have money to spend it. I don't want to lose the money. Please help me. And I can assure you and all your customers, we're doing everything possible that we can to make it better. I'm always paranoid to say we see a better day or we see relief because people take those comments out of context and sometimes have hope that maybe we can't deliver on. But I will tell you that over the last 90 days, we have seen signs that lead us to believe things might get better in 2023. Now, how much better, how quickly, we don't know. We have some of the best supply chain people that I've ever met working tirelessly through this period. I mean, nobody knew who supply chain people were before this. Now everyone knows them. And the pure raw shortage is a global phenomenon. And I think when you go from no demand in the summer of 2020, if you remember, GDP dropped almost 40%. And then less than a year later, all that demand came roaring back, and there just was not enough to go around. And one of the bellwethers I like to use, this is me personally, is to watch the consumer electronics space and to watch the automobile space. Because when you look at where our industry sits compared to the demand from those two spaces, we sit at a lower tier. So when we were seeing things like Ford and GM idling plants, when we were seeing the delay in the launch of the iPhone, when we were seeing things like that, we knew it was going to be really, really challenging. One of the things we did come up with, and I know you're aware of this, is what we call the less reader controller, LRC option. So this was a way where it started with a customer in Florida, then a customer in Pennsylvania, and then it grew. And they said, I've got a deadline. I need to put locks on doors. And so our engineering and product people, along with our marketing people, came up with a creative way to put a lock on a door, less the reader and the electronics, and those would follow. So at least you could get a certificate of occupancy and you could close and lock the door. And that program that started out with 3 requests has morphed into dozens and dozens and dozens of requests. So it's not perfect by any means, but it was a way to help accommodate our customers to be able to put that locking device on the door and be able to fulfill the need of the customer as well. I do want to say that in the non-intelligent locking products, the things like our electric strikes and our power supplies, the supply chain has been far less impactful because the types of chips they use. So our brands like HES and Securitron have done quite well during this period of time and delivering very, very quickly, very nicely for our customers.
That's great to hear. It does seem like there are indicators that maybe 2023 would be that turnaround year. So we're hoping for the best all around.
Yes,
for sure.
I think we all need it. And I think the one thing I do want to add to it, if you don't mind, Foswa, is that what's really great about the position we're in, we work in a really great industry. We really do. And we're really at a great time. And so to go from such depths of despair in the summer of 20 to where we are now, where we have so many end customers coming to you and to us and saying, we need to secure doors. We need electronic access control. We need auditability. I think that it's a great thing in society that more and more of our institutional users realize that they want to get away from the traditional metal key and go to access control. And if they're patient enough and we could accommodate them with supply chain, I think this portends a really excellent future for us together.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think in that sense, there may even be more of a more proliferation of the requests and the requirements of physical access control. And yeah, the way that technology is moving exponentially, right? So we got to keep up with that. And I think definitely physical safety and the ability to provide product that can assist in physical safety, it's a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, and I think what's happening is people in the industry like you and myself and Laura, we think about these things. Why wouldn't you go access control? But lay people don't. And what I'm finding since mobile has really popped, lay people are starting to talk about this. In their mind is how can I open my door with my phone? And I think you have the normal security reasons that we've always had, which are so critical. How am I actually protecting that person? How am I actually auditing and being able to do everything I did possibly to protect him or her? But I think now comes in the convenience factor. I have a daughter who's a senior in college, and that's why she wants to use a phone to get indoors. And because everything she does is on the phone, from her gift card she'll get at Christmas time to her airline tickets while she's on a flight coming back today. And now that mobile has made it a convenience, I think we have the security and the convenience discussion to have with our end clients. And I think we're very early in the ball game here on what the future could lie for us.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And with that said, in terms of direction for ASSA ABLOY and future products that may be coming down the pipeline, could you shed some light into that?
Sure. So I'll cover two buckets. On product wise, we have an excellent R&D group, and we work very, very closely with the sales group to get real voice of customer. So we will continue to invest in software driven devices and electronics. We will continue to acquire companies. You may or may not have seen just a few short months ago, we acquired an intercom company called Doorbird.
Mhm.
So we have an appetite for new technologies, interesting technologies, and we also have an appetite for taking the products that we do have and making them user friendly. And a great example is the one you gave about Saddleback earlier, looking at the things we have and what things and features could we put into them. On the other side, that's the new product development side. But on the field side, the door security solution side, as more and more companies become generalists, Boswell, where there's one person doing it all, we're becoming hyper focused. So the team we've created in digital access has people who just call on security consultants, people who call on developers, people who call on the critical infrastructure space and the top tier integrator space. So as we expand on the front end of the business, we're making sure we stay super hyper focused on the end users, the variety of channel partners, and all the players who are relevant in that decision-making process. Because the one thing we're learning, people, maybe it was COVID, I'm not sure, people have less of a tolerance for long delayed cycles. They don't want to call one person and get put to the second or third or fourth person. They want somebody who speaks their language with their expertise. And so the team we're building out that Laura and I are part of, that's what we're trying to do, focus.
Well, that's really good. I think what it's it's hard to believe because ASSA ABLOY is obviously a very large company, but you treat people, customers, partnerships as if it's it's like not, I don't want to say a small company, but you have great partnerships, and it's not this big company, this entity, but you have these great relationships and partnerships that make companies like us, like, again, it's been a great opportunity for us to work with you. And Ange, I really appreciate your time today and the insight with ASSA ABLOY. And if you wanted to add anything else.
Yeah, I just want to say a big thank you. I mean, we genuinely appreciate your comments, and that means a lot to us because I've been with ASSA ABLOY for over 20 years. And one of the many things that I really like about being here, we are a global player and we're a big player, but all of our businesses are run like we run them ourselves. So the team that's in charge of representing you, and whether it's on the back end development end with Henry Fell's team or the front end with Jim Crowley's team, their mission is to run this like it's their own business and to make you feel at Imron as special as you feel. So I'm sincerely grateful for that, and I'm sincerely grateful for the partnership. And I'm not unaware that early on, when a lot of people were not really interested in development to these kind of new IP locks that did not exist anywhere, that you took a bold bet. And I really appreciate that. And I hope it's paying off for you in a good way. And we're very, very, very glad and thankful for the partnership.
Oh, it's the feeling is mutual. We're looking forward to providing our customers like thousands of more of these solutions. So we're hoping for a very good, promising future.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, Ange.
For more information, please visit our website at imron.com.